First up, Pretty Sassy had a bad stumble at the start.
They're off and racing. Pretty Sassy misses it and is left at the back of the field over on the far side and tagging across. That is a Margarita right there too. That's Don Quessy chasing my dream up in the to the near side, right in the middle of things. That's locked down. So it is Margarita, Don Quessy chasing my dreams, and locked down. These are the prominent ones. Just behind them, that is Pretty Sassy as they make their way coming to the furlong pole, and it is just the leader, Margarita, on the far side. Don Quessy showing down a good challenge, and Don Quessy looks to have the lead from Margarita. Lockdown coming forward, but it's Don Quessy in front of Lockdown coming forward. Don Quessy under pressure now from Lockdown, chasing Don Quessy. Lockdown. Don Quessy beats Lockdown. Then comes Pretty Sassy, Margarita, and
Next up is number 4, He's Sensational. Squatted when leaving the starting gate and then bounced by Uncle Baba, who lost the rider.
and we're ready for a start. They're off and racing. He's Sensational misses it, and the ejected rider from Uncle Baba, so one is on the ground. So making the running money mission from Prolific Prince, right there too, that's Bob the Builder. Out wide, that is a Benison just coming on nicely. Alchemy of Soul, the Raider comes next, then comes a Star Quest, just behind Star Quest, that's Informal Gladiator. Then comes a Slam Sharp as they go past the 4. Nebuchadnezzar comes next. Monarch. As they head towards the 3 furlong point, and it is Prolific Prince on that leader. Just on the outside, Bob the Builder threatening already. Also there, that's Money Mission backing out. Coming on the outside, that's Loretta there at the top of the lane, and it is on that lead, Prolific Prince in front. Prolific Prince in front of Bob the Builder, trying to come once again. They're coming to the furlong pole. It is Prolific Prince. Bob the Builder left back against the rail, also trying to come on. That's Benison. It's Prolific Prince still in front and looks to be traveling nicely. And Prolific Prince, with a half a furlong to go, looks to be all over. You have this one on your bet. Head to the windows and go get your cash. Prolific Prince beats Bob the Builder. Venison comes next. Alchemy of Soul got tied for fifth rather. Could be.
Number 3, Freedom Street, hesitates when leaving the starting gate and is left behind the field.
They're off and racing. Freedom Street steps a bit slow and races at the back of the field. Unbelievable force from the wide draw. Assumes that lead. It's unbelievable force from Fly Blue Jet right there in the mix. That's a California Gold. Huntsman just forming a line of 3. Coming down on the outside, forming a line of 4. That is Unspun. Just behind them, that's Freedom Street recovering. Just behind Freedom Street, that is Interesting Times Ahead. Right against the rail, that's a Perfect Brew. Just beside Perfect Brew, that's a Teflon Don. Then comes a Mud Shaft and racing at the back of the field. That's Magnificent Force. They're going to come into the lane shortly. An unbelievable force leading them a merry dance. About 6 lengths in front and looks unstoppable so far. Running down and coming on. That's Unspun. Unbelievable force. And the apprentice, Tajay Suku, looking for 3 on the day. Unspun begins to get closer. It is still Unbelievable Force in front of Unspun, and Unbelievable Force maybe on recall, but Unspun begins to fly on the outside. Unbelievable Force shutting off. Unspun coming on. Unbelievable Force. Unspun. They've gone by together. Too close to call. Then comes a Perfect Brew.
Number 2, Sashit, another horse who hesitates leaving the starting gates and giving away a lot of lengths.
They're off and racing. Sashit blows the starts and give the field about a 6-length jump as Bowmore goes for that lead. It's Bowmore in front, about 2 lengths or maybe 3 in front of H2O, just on it. H2O inside, that's Miss Grove. Then comes a Papi Uso forming a line of three. That's Thousand Treasure backing out. That's Total Velocity, and Sashit gets going. They head toward the three, and it is Bowmore on that lead. About a length and a half of H2O tracking intently. Another two before we come to Miss Grove. Then comes Sashit recovering just on the outside of Sashit. That is Thousand Treasure. Then come Papi Uso and Total Velocity at the back. But Bowmore not messing around in the second. About 3 lengths in front. H2O has to do more. It's Bowmore in front. Miss Grove coming up the rail for the stable exacta. But it's Bowmore in front and traveling good. And Bowmore is still in front, coming to the half a furlong pole. And Bowmore slipping away from them. And it's 2 on the day. It's the daily double, early double for Jockey Richie Shakes. Bowmore beats Miss Grove. Then comes H2O back in.
Number 3, My Eclipse, came out flashing his head and jumping, fighting with the jockey, and didn't settle down until probably the other horses had maybe an 8 stride on him, and still managed to run past a few runners in the stretch. So definitely want to note.
They're off for the Kingston. My Eclipse staggers out, gives the rest a huge advantage. I Dream Again and Brompton Boy match strides early. Sensational Soul is tucked in between horses as they charge away now toward the 6. Brompton Boy on the outside shows narrowly. Runaway Star, these two noses apart as they go blasting past the 6. Sensational Soul is right on their heels. Mr. Lee is in between horses. I Dream Again racing on the outside of runners. Secret Sensation is the one racing on the rail. Bossman making ground and joining those. Mark My Identity races up next ahead of Strong Mind, and a long gap back to My Eclipse as the Kingston field arrive at the half mile, and the tempo should now increase. Runaway Star, the favourite, a narrow leader. Brompton Boy continues to harass all the while. I Dream Again, close to them, only 3 lengths off that lead. Sensational Soul running a big one on the rail. There goes Boss Man. These in a very tight grouping as they approach the 5/16th. Mark My Identity in front of Mr. Lee, then Strong Mind. Secret Sensation on the fade, overtaken by My Eclipse as they come thundering into the top of the lane in the Kingston. Runaway Star out on that lead. I Dream Again now asked to challenge on the outside. Sensational Soul hunting ground against the rail, but it's Runaway Star. The rider calling for the stick in the right hand. Here is Sensational Soul now throwing out a strong challenge on the rail. It's Runaway Star being driven to the max. It's Runaway Star and Radish Roman driven to the max. Here's Sensational Soul and the veteran Shane Ellis, and they win the Kingston. Sensational Soul over Runaway Star, then Strong Mind. I Dream Again, possibly Mark My Identity over Bossman.
This is another very interesting one. Number 10, Linguist, is going to hesitate leaving the gates. And I didn't notice this until way after the race, watching the replay. When the field was already gone, Linguist slightly reared and hesitates to come out, and is left a good maybe 12 stride behind the field. Manages to make a good run to when turning for home to join up with them, but that is going to take its toll. So definitely has to watch this Linguist.
They're off for the front runner sponsored Portmore. Linguist leaves the gate a long way behind that field as they charge past the 7. Miss Moneypenny shows speed. Danker and Khaleesi right there on the premises as they make their way running up now toward the 6. Costa Living has made ground on the outside. Riley J and Social Aviator raced in close proximity with Simply Enchanting as they've run past the 6. Mighty Gully could have been checked at that stage. Just in behind them, that's Burning Hedge, a gap back to Perfect Affair and a Pretty Perfect, and a long way last the slow starter Linguist. They're on the run to the half mile. They're about to leave the back stretch, and Danker controls the speed up front. 2 lengths in front of Miss Moneypenny now, asked to make some progress. Watch Khaleesi and Social Aviator now wound up for their runs. Mighty Gully and Costa Living also begin to make some ground. Rally G on the outside of Burning Head. Simply Enchanting overtaken by a Pretty Perfect. Perfect Affair toward the back. And last of all, it's Linguist as the Portmore field come flashing past the 5/16th. They're about to come into the lane, and Danka continues to lead them, trying to go all the way. Inside the final quarter at the top of the lane, it is Danka, Social Aviator, hunting ground against the rail. Khaleesi the Grey is on the premises. Mighty Gully is running a huge one along with Burning Hedge. Several horses in with a chance, and Burning Hedge now points. Mighty Gully continues to fight on. What Social Aviator now wound up against the rail. Robert Halladine changing his stick, but still it is Burning Hedge. Here comes Social Aviator now, the favourite. They're in ahead, Bob. They drive to the line. Social Aviator wins the Portmore over Burning Hedge. Close between Pretty Perfect, Mighty Gully in the centre, and